Hello, and welcome back to our channel. Today we're thrilled to continue our lab build-out series, focusing on the high availability configuration of the NSX Manager. If you haven't already, make sure you check out our previous video where we covered the installation process of the NSX Manager, which is linked in the description below. Without further ado, let's dive into the necessary configuration steps for the high availability setup. First, we'll need to configure the Compute Manager by mapping the NSX Manager to the vCenter server. Then we'll deploy the HA appliances within the mapped vCenter server. Finally, we'll configure the virtual IP to provide redundancy for the connection to the manager. Let's kick off the first step by logging into the NSX Manager and heading over to the System tab. From there, we'll select the Quick Start tab and click on Add Compute Manager. This will take us to the configuration screen where we can add the Compute Manager name, description, FQDN of the vCenter server, and credentials. While it's recommended to create a service account for this action, we'll be using a SSO admin account as this is for our lab. Once we've added the necessary information, we'll select Yes for both the service account and trust enablement and click on Add. You'll then be prompted with the SSL certificate, which you'll need to accept before finalizing the configuration. Once we have the Compute Manager added, we can now proceed with deploying the appliances for our HA configuration. Select the Appliances tab and then select Add NSX Appliance. You will then be prompted to enter the secondary NSX Manager configuration. It is important to note that the node size must be the same size as the primary NSX Manager. We will select small as this is the size of our NSX Manager for our lab. Next, you will be prompted to input the cluster, host, data store, and network that the secondary manager will be hosted on. Make sure you select the proper network, which should correlate to the subnet for the IP address that has been identified for this server. Your final step will be to configure the credentials for the server and enable root and SSH access. You can then select Install Appliance and the deployment task will initiate. As you can see here, the deployment task will be displayed within the manager. You will also see an OVA deployment task within vCenter. Once these tasks are complete, you will need to wait about 15 minutes before the services are fully installed. Repeat these tasks for the third NSX Manager deployment to align with VMware best practices. The final step in enabling HA for the NSX Manager is setting up the virtual IP. It is best practice to create a DNS record for this address to ensure easy access. To set the virtual IP, head over to the Appliance tab and select Set Virtual IP. You'll then be prompted to set the IP address. Once you've configured the IP address, select Save and then navigate to the new address within your web browser. You'll be prompted to accept a new certificate as this is a new address. After accepting the certificate, you'll be able to log in successfully.